Hi, here we go with adding and subtracting fractions. M&M's questions 2 and 3. We use the same method for both adding and subtracting fractions. So the method is the same for both of these. So make sure you remember that. So we'll take our first example. Say we've got 1/3 and 3/5. Because the denominators are the same, both the denominators are in fifths, we can leave it like that and just write the answer as 4/5. So we add the top of our fractions, the denominators, which are down the bottom, denominators do not change, they stay the same. So for adding and subtracting, we have to have the same number on the denominator, and you manipulate or add and subtract the numerators. The numerators are at the top. So for our next question, here we've got 4/9 minus 2/9. It's the same method. Are they all in ninths? We can see that's ninths and that's ninths. They are. So 4 minus 2 is 2/9. If we go on to 1/8 plus 1/2, we don't have the same number on both of them. So there are two methods of doing this. And we should really use the lowest common multiple. So we're looking for changing them both into eighths. So if I multiply the top of this fraction by 2 and the bottom by 2, sorry, not 2/2, I'll use 4/4 because it's 4 ones, 4. I will get 8 at the bottom. So my question now becomes 1/8 plus 4/8. Now we have the same number at the bottom, and that makes 5/8. Why can't I just multiply it by 4/4? 4/4 is the same value as 1. And when we multiply 1/2 by 1, we are not changing its value at all. So here's an example. I've got half a square here. If I cut this square into 4 different parts, so here I go, cutting it into quarters, 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 1, 2, 3, 4/8 shaded, so 4/8 is the same as 1/2. So as long as you have the same denominator at the bottom, adding and subtracting has the same method. So let's go to our next example and have a look. We've got 2/5 plus 1/7. When we add fractions, we actually use multiplication when we add fractions. So we can use multiplication when we add fractions. And that's something that some people don't realize. So I'm going to multiply this one by 7/7. 7/7 is 1. And I'm going to multiply this one by 5/5. So my question now looks like this. It is now 7 2s are 14/35. And this one is 5/35. We have the same denominator for both, so it's all over 35. 14 and 5, 19. We're done. We have the same denominator. So my clues, it's called cross multiplication. I multiply this one by 5, and I multiply this one by 7. That's how I get these two fractions there. Let's try another one here. We've got 3/5 minus 2/11, so it's the same procedure. So I'm going to multiply this one by 11/11, and I'm going to multiply this one by 5/5. Where do I get those numbers from? These are the denominators, 5 and 11. Think about that if you're not sure. So let's go ahead and do this. That's 3/11s are 33/55 minus 5 2s are 10/55. Now we have the same number on the bottom, 55, so I can just do my numerators, 23/55. For the next one, 7/80 minus 7/20. I wouldn't cross multiply here because I get big numbers, so I'm going to multiply this one on the left by 4/4. Why do I get 4 from? Because 20 goes into 80 4 times. So if I multiply this by 4/4, I will get the following fraction. I will get 4 7s are 28. Let's just change that. 4 7s are 28/80. and this one here is already over 80, and I'm subtracting. Now I've gone into negatives, so the biggest number is a minus. The difference between these two is 21. 28 minus 7 is 21, so the answer is negative 21 over 80. So I hope you have learned how to add and subtract fractions. Remember, we use a multiplication process to get a common denominator.